What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Gibbons here.
As we'll see.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Achromas Podcast, episode number 20. Number 20. We made it. We
20.
made it, and we're still going. We're still going strong. Yo, if this is your first time, subscribe below, hit that subscribe button, click that bad boy, click that like button. It helps us out. Share this podcast with all your friends, your family, even your foes. They'll love you for it. Believe me.
Especially when you tell them that it's free.
Yeah, here we go
Right?
again. Here we go again with this free business. I don't know what that is.
It's free, guys.
It's free.
Not too many things are free, as we always say.
$3.99. It costs nothing.
Donut. But a finger.
That's
Just press
insane.
that, and you'll
That's
get all the
insane.
content, all the Chroma's content your heart desires.
The type of gems that we drop on this. I mean, I'm sorry, bro. Like we free.
Free.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell y'all but to follow, subscribe, like,
Yes.
share, all that stuff. It helps us grow. It helps our community grow, and you can grow right along with us, man.
Yes.
Look, this week has been crazy. It was only a 4-day week, and it was one of the craziest weeks I've had this year. I think what happens in the mind of people is that when they have these compressed weeks, they're like, well, I got to get more work done. So they try to shove a 5-day work week into 4. So I mean, there are meetings on top of meetings, there are emails on top of emails, calls, and ridiculous deadlines that you got to keep up with. And you're just like, for whatever reason, I dread those days or those weeks where you only got 4 days to do stuff.
Yep. Definitely. You pay for it.
Yeah, oh yeah, paying for it as it is, man. It's and I think for the next couple weeks going forward, it's gonna be just as tough. So hey, looking forward to it, right? Tough times don't last, what tough people do. So you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving forward, and you pray for the best. You prepare yourself as best as you can, and you just let it rip. I think that in of itself is exactly what leads to success. So it leads to successful people. It leads to less stressful situations. And I think it's just better overall. And the other thing that I think is just better overall for not only us, but for you guys out there listening and watching is the 21-3 method. We got to announce now that the 21-3 method landing page is up, y'all. So if you need any more information on the 21-3 method, go to Google right now, or just look in your search bar, type in 21-3method.com/home, and you'll see everything regarding the 21-3 method and how it only takes 21 days to create sustainable habits to change your life forever.
21 days.
That's it.
Yep. And I can attest to that.
Yep. This is the 21-day guy, the 21-day guru. If you have any questions on building those habits, you call this man directly.
Yes.
21 days. Done. Forget the 66 that experts say it takes, and that's how long it takes for it to stick. 21.
No.
Guarantee.
Just please make sure you know your purpose. If you're gonna stick to that, know your purpose. That's something we'll get into a little bit later in our combo. But for the most part, know your purpose. If you know your purpose and you hold on tight to it, you can't go wrong. This is fail proof. It will work. It will work, and you will have a new habit created, a healthy habit. I hope. A new habit altogether.
Yep.
So be ready, guys.
Be ready
for that journey.
Stay ready. January 1st, 2022 is when that launch. You know what that means. The beginning of the year begins with you. It begins with you building those habits and those healthy habits and creating one that's sustainable. I mean, what is better than creating a lifestyle that is sustainable for you for the rest of your life, right? Nothing.
It's hard to top that.
You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't. Once you're there, and you're like, damn, I wish I was here before. Well, you do not have to wait any longer. January 1st, 2022, it's coming right to you.
Absolutely.
So you stay tuned. Now, for today's podcast, boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to get into. So I just want to jump right into it, man. Look, with all the progress that we've made on Achromas, with all the progress that that you've made in this journey over the past year, all the progress I've made through my journeys as well. There were certain times where we had to face fears that we did not believe we were well equipped to do. We did not believe we were strong enough to do it, and for some cases, we felt like that fear would cripple us, absolutely devastate us to a point where we would not be able to even touch that. I mean, how could fear, just fear in itself, how can that cripple progress? What does that do?
I mean, it just halts everything.
Hmm.
If you allow it to consume you,
Mm.
allow it to consume your thought process, allow it to consume your every waking moment of
Mm.
your existence, um, it becomes a fight or flight scenario, as I like to think of a lot of the times.
Mm.
And if you're not cautious, it will consume you whole, and you will not be able to live a productive life in the best
Mm.
way that you possibly can
Mm.
if you allow it to get the best of you.
So you're saying it will literally destroy you living your best life, or at least the opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And really, is you.
yeah, okay,
It's really
sure.
you.
It is based on you. How what do you think happens when people get stuck on that early phase of trying to overcome something that they have no idea what that thing actually is? Like, a lot of people don't categorize it as fear.
Mm.
They would give it another name, like not enough time, or I don't know enough to do that,
Mm-hmm.
or I am, I look, I'm not in the right space, I'm not in the right mindset. I'm not ready for that stage. What do you believe that then leads to procrastination and ultimately a lack of action?
Um, it can.
Hmm.
It can if you don't really pay close attention to when it's happening and really gauge your thought process through it.
Hmm.
It makes it really difficult, and you will tend to focus on everything that will lead to it as a distraction from really challenging whatever that fear is, and
Hmm.
just seeking a way to overcome it, and in some instances exist through it. Because there's some fears, like for example, just a for me, like with heights, that's a huge
Mm.
fear for me, where that's really hard to deal with.
Mm.
And I have had a few instances of uh encountering how to try to deal with that, for
Okay.
example, like through zip lining,
Mm.
or as I plan to do with like indoor rock climbing.
Okay.
Like I plan to do
Ooh,
that.
yeah, that's
And
also interesting.
one indoor skydiving, and as
Yeah.
I told you, one of my big goals to do at some point on my list to
Mm.
help address my fear is skydive. I want to do some
Mm.
skydiving.
Wow. That's
um
fun. I mean, you know what? It's funny. I kind of have that same fear, but it's like from a different perspective. And God forgive me, I forgot the name, because there is an actual term for what I'm talking about.
mm,
But what happens, like when I went, for example, I went to the Hoover Dam a couple years ago,
mm.
and I was walking over, the little bridge that they have going over that dam. Woo! Just thinking about it now, just like, just immediately hit my eyes looking over the dam, but not trying to get too close to the side of that rail.
Yep.
My God, like, but what happens is, like, it's a weird fear where it's like I'm not necessarily afraid of the height, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, there's something in my mind that tells me to jump.
Same here.
Yeah.
I share whatever that
Yeah.
is called.
I forgot
That,
God, I
yeah,
forgot the name. I forgot the name, but
it's tough.
it
It's a
is
real,
like, it
yeah,
literally happens. You're
yeah.
like, you get the urge. You're like, what's happening with me? I don't want to do this. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, so it's every
Yeah.
time I get to something like that, I push away. I stay as far away from the railing as possible, regardless how high it is. Even if
Yeah.
there's a fence blocking me from sticking my hand or anything over, not a chance I put anything over, man. It Like, when I went there, I was terrified. I was mortified, but yeah, I mean, look, the one way I got over it. No, I didn't try to bungee jump off the Dover Dam or anything, but
Good. Good.
but same thing you said, whether it's skydiving, whether it's rock climbing, it just so happens that time I was out there, we ended up doing that after. So we went, and, in the middle of the desert, we had some gear that we had some shoes. We did not have a crash pad, which is something that you lay on the ground in case you fall
Mhm.
when you're climbing. So, and we didn't have any gear to latch on to climb. We literally put chalk on our hands. We found the grooves and the grips that we wanted to use, and we just climbed up. And I still have a picture on my personal IG page of me standing at the top of that. I don't know, you probably saw it a while ago. This was
Mhm.
many, many years ago, but I felt like I can conquer anything when I was able to do that, man. Like it's such a rush. It's such an exhilarating feel. You literally feel like you can accomplish everything once you face that particular fear. And then looking down and seeing, people looking like ants below me after you're done climbing, it is another amazing feeling. You're like, wow, I literally just got my own way.
That sense of accomplishment is exhilarating.
Yep.
And I think like that's I- like that's a common fear with a lot of folks, right? But Jay, what do you think about like a fear that is like consistent with life in a way that you don't necessarily conquer it. You adjust your thought process. You adjust your outlook, and you work on it to not let it control you. And I have a reason why I say that,
Okay.
because for me, a fear that I have uh, a truth now within a fear that I realize and have recognized in recent times is the part of loving myself.
Okay.
And a real fear, since we want to have one that's more in depth, of
Yeah.
like not loving myself at all times again. Like going back to that place where I feel like I'm not enough, that is something that I'm conscious to try to work on, because like that is a form of fear that I feel like maybe a lot of people do have. And you know is it healthy, like with what I'm doing to build methods and things to kind of help cope with it in a way where I know you referenced with being afraid of heights, of conquering it, right? Like, would you say that there's a difference between the two and how you can approach that? Where in my instance, conquering it really is a day-to-day thing, because sometimes I get my ass kicked.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I see what you mean. Like there is an absolute for some, and then for others, I think it is a day-to-day process.
Okay.
Like for me, a personal example that's pretty deep is just the fear of feeling that you're not enough, or like you're not doing enough, so that you, at the end of the day, you aren't able to live up to your potential.
That part.
So that to me, for me, is my worst fear. I mean, of all the different things that I've started personally, or started with you, and we've worked through in terms of entrepreneurial things that we've done. But there is somewhat of a reason behind it, and it's not because I'm trying to fill a void, or I'm trying to seek approval from others, but I know that I'm capable of more than I am handling right now in my life. I know that I'm capable of doing more, and being more, and taking it one step further each and every time I hit a roadblock. I know that I can conquer all of these things. So that mindset is in my mind. But when you run into something like potential, like everybody has the potential to be something, but trying to continuously discover throughout your life if you have ever reached your potential, your apex, the top of your particular mountain, is always something that's kind of hard to discover. Because, and we did talk about this on the last podcast, where it's like, is there an end? Is there a, like, how do you know that you've reached the pinnacle of success, or the top of your mountain? And in my eyes, sometimes I think, well, I wouldn't know that even after death, right? Because I think as the years continue and the years go on, I begin to continue to realize my potential every single day. Like each day I try to push, and I try to live it as much as I can, even if the fear of being incorrect, or being laughed at, or feeling like I don't belong. So I'm still living with those fears constantly. But each and every day, what you do is you make progress to do something that is outside of what you would normally do. It's the subtle art of not giving an F, because I can't say the word right now, because we got we're going to be on the radio, so of course we can't put that in there. But it's that subtle art of being able to conquer your fears, conquer those deep rooted fears every single day. So it is kind of tough to say I've reached exactly what my potential is going to be, and I am no longer going to go further up, because that in of itself is somewhat of a fear for me. What if I reach that end and I have nowhere else to grow? is that it for me? What else in my life will then bring me purpose if I then reach my potential that I thought I was going to have?
Well, I think that kind of go hand in hand with like when you're setting goals, right? And you're knocking them out one by one.
Sure.
I think you don't limit the potential that you may possess. You grow through it. And when you feel like, for example, with fitness, right, where you feel like you've maxed out a certain area and you feel like there's limited room for growth in that area, you adjust your outlook and you restructure your regimen.
So it's almost as though you have to come to the conclusion that I am not going to be able to lift heavier weight, but maybe I can lift more of a lower weight. Is that what you're saying? Are you
That's a
saying to
good
sort of
comparison. Like
okay?
you have to adjust and adapt, and that's that's something you have to work within your mind to be conscious of. Where this may be where you are and where you want to go with your aspiration to get there. And once you feel like you're getting to that ceiling, how do you break through? What do you do to break through that to continue onward to your growth that you need? And in the aspect of fear, which is why I was saying with like for me and like what you resonate with as well, it's in my opinion, it's a day-to-day grind because that's really what we have. And you win this round. Like I said earlier, there's some days where you just certain things get the best of you, or a fear does get the best of you. You have something that you're really worried about, maybe work, that you feel like at your job you're just not performing at the best that you feel like you could at times, or you feel like, I forget what it's called, when you kind of feel like you're imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where
When
you
you
feel like
feel
you
like you
don't
don't
belong.
belong. Yeah. Yep.
I think that's something that's a
A
fact
daily
in
thing.
a
Yeah.
daily thing, and with work, or even in environment, settings where you with a group of people,
Yeah.
and you don't
So,
know them, and you don't know who you are as you
sure.
are is enough to mingle and fit in.
So let's spend a little time there on imposter syndrome, because I know a lot of you out there are going through that right now. Many of the people who watch this, you may have just left college, maybe you're on your first or second job, you're still spinning your wheels in your career, and even though you have, even though you went to college, you got your degree, you got a lot of studies under your belt, you may even have experience. Right now, you're still struggling to try to fit in because those around you have been there, done that, and you, in your mind, you believe they can walk circles around the things so how does somebody who is suffering with that sort of imposter syndrome feel? What is a step that they can take to get through that? Because it is a day-to-day thing, regardless where you go. Unless you're even if you are the president or CEO of a company, you're still going to have that feeling like, dang, maybe this isn't the thing for me. Maybe they know more than I do. Like, this is kind of new to me in a way. This strategy is new. Entrepreneurship is new. Leading a force of 400 or 500 people is new. They're going to see my shortcomings. What do I do? So all of those things run in their mind. What is a tip that you can give them that would allow them to alleviate that pressure and move through, knowing that they do belong?
I would say to write down, put a list of pros and cons about you, real qualities about yourself that you like and that you dislike.
That's deep.
And then I speak on this because I've done this.
Okay.
And then assess those strengths. Assess areas where you can enhance it to be better for you, and see if any of those strengths coincide with what you don't like. And then at that point, take that list you don't like and then really spend time there. Like, focus on why you don't like those things about you.
Right.
Is it really because of you, or because of your perception of others and how they going to perceive how you operate within the things you dislike about yourself, or tendencies you feel as though you could be better? And then address them. Educate yourself, provide yourself resources through books, or through podcasts, or healthy habits of like looking and weaving through what's for you, so you can identify how do you become better at those things in life for you.
Okay.
And still are able to maintain that pro side of you. Right? Because that's something that are qualities that you have, you just want to amplify.
Right.
So that's what I've done with myself, where, for example, to my core, I would say I have identified majority of my life as an introvert to introverted person, where personally there's things about me that I had shied away from with people because of me, not really because of anyone else. And then it would just absorb a lot amount of energy out of me just to be what I thought everyone else needed me to be, but what I needed to be for myself.
Right.
And I would just shut down after a while because I just thought I wasn't good enough, imposter syndrome. So that being Will wasn't just okay being me. So recognizing that and working through that has allowed me to identify other areas of myself where turns out I am extremely extroverted with life and how I do approach and I engage people and the ability to captivate a room, to hold I've held conferences with hundreds of people, and I was able to lead whatever I needed to do. I was able to train people with what my profession was. I had all those tools that I didn't realize that was in my shed the entire time.
And
I didn't
didn't
realize
happen
my
overnight,
worth.
right? It didn't happen overnight.
No, no, it didn't. It had happened through time, but your thought process is you're not where your head space needs to be. You don't recognize those qualities about yourself. And then those things tend to become a negative thing to you because then you're self-conscious of everything and everyone. And I'm like, all right, my work is what it is. And then I got really serious at it. I'm trying to perfect it. I'm like, well, I don't know if these people really are really digging it. They get it. With what the knowledge I have and what I'm giving them. However, the people around you that's so close to you that you interact on a regular basis, they are kind of a gauge to let you know certain things about yourself, like where you are and where you stand in certain ways, right?
Sure.
So like if you drink a lot, if you smoke a lot, like each his own, but like look at your inner circle, look at the people you're around, right? Look at what they're into, look at what you're into, look how well you mesh together. Are you growing through that process for you, whatever that looks like? Are you challenging yourself? Are you around people that are go-getters? Are you around people that are facing their fears, like working on themselves? Or you're around people who are looking to have their ego fluffed? Because you kind of need to check yourself and check your surroundings, and then that's going to help you grow ultimately.
And I think those who are in those circles too, I mean, they also have to realize that, is this for me? Am I ready to grow? Am I ready to take that next leap and get out of my comfort zone? Because I'm with you in terms of introvert. I mean, that's been my life. Up until recently, I think it kind of goes back into the fear thing. Like, look, this smile it's not always been 100%, man. I had to work on it. I had to dig deep into it, and with that, helped my self confidence. Before I wasn't. So along with that, it allowed me to express myself in a much better way, and express myself to people who may be going through the same things. To be able to be on this podcast with you as well. Like, all of those things are outside of my, what you would say, comfort zone. But I am now comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I think that's it right there, Jay. You hit the nail on the head. Growing to a place to break and shatter that fear of just being okay with you. It's totally okay. And in some instances, it's okay to not be okay. And to recognize, all right, this is an area of opportunity for me to work on me, for me. So like tools that I've done with this part of feeling like I'm not enough and not loving myself enough, I'll share a few things that some may have seen it already, and then give a few tips of other things that I've been working on, especially as of late. I have been treating myself to self-love dates. I've been doing that for a while, but like I've really gotten into that part of it for me.
What is that? Explain that.
So, as a way of working on myself and to love me and appreciate myself without the need to have approval of another person. In this particular instance with women, not the need of pure companionship at all times, just loving myself enough to know that, Will, you're worth it the way you are. And that'll be what it is when it comes. But like just learning what I like, what I dislike, and learning how to appreciate myself so that I can truly appreciate the worth of another.
Okay.
And recognize when that person is appreciating me.
Sure.
So what that looks like for me is I wrote down a list of things that I'd like to do, and I just took action with, like, taking myself to the movies, legit going to a restaurant that I maybe have been interested in by myself, just trying the cuisine, seeing what it's like. I've even gotten into a big thing with photography lately, where I'm thinking about investing into, some sort of, actual, equipment to kind of go around and just capture life, if you will. Like, I've been doing that with my phone a lot, and I
So you're
post certain
trying to
things.
capture nature, or you like self
Everything.
stuff,
I
everything? Okay.
just everything in the moment. So I've been, I've even gone to DC recently, and just was around taking some pictures of some things locally, just here in our area. Same thing, just
Nice.
capturing a moment of life, and just allow myself to live, just not exist.
Mm.
So through that form of doing those things is like a self-love process for me to learn will, appreciate will,
Right.
and just, being in the moment of what that is, because it's allowing me to know my worth, and to know I am alive, so I have to be worth it. I am here. This is not something that everyone experiences in life, where we don't know when our last moment is going to be. But if we allow ourselves to live in fear at all times, then we are truly holding ourselves back from the gift that has been given to us, which is life. So in understanding that, it's helped me to even take a bigger step forward with my fear,
Sure.
not feeling like I'm enough. That what I did was, for mental health awareness towards the closure of it, I posted an image of myself of when I wasn't my best self.
See that? Yep.
When I was not okay,
Right.
where I was honestly an absolute wreck in my mind, in my spirit, my body, and I was just depleted with life, depleted as a good person, that just felt like I've always gotten the wrong end of the sticks, and it felt like I just wasn't really enough at that point. And I felt like I failed in everything. But in those darkest of moments is where you must work to find that light in you, because it's there. There's joy in you that you don't realize is there through the fear. And you got to go through the fear. You got to fight through it to know that you can be better than what you feel. You can persevere, and good days and good moments will come. Not just what you're experiencing through that fear in the moment. You got to tune in, like tunnel vision through that, like blitz through that wall, and just know that there's going to be an outcome,
right,
if you choose it, if you seek it. And that's where I think the problem is. A lot of the time, the work, people are too afraid to do the work because of those reasons. They find the excuses of life and everything else to prevent them from that. But for me, that was the defining moment, Jay. I wanted to share that fearlessly, and it wasn't about what anyone was going to say, that because people could have said anything that wasn't kind. But I've outgrown to the point of realizing that, you know what, my journey of addressing fear my way, I've grown to a place where I can speak out on it and do it, because I think we are all really worth it. I think my journey has been a testament to that. So when we having these moments, and you've been a part of the whole process, the 21-3 method, everything that we're giving to you is authentic and is true, because this is our life.
It's literally lived it.
Yeah, so there are people who would just say it, or you get the times where people, hey guys, I don't want to put any names out there, but there are folks that you see out there, public figures, where you only see the best of them now, and that's all they want to focus on. No. For us, see where we've been, see the journey. It's been captured, not for the purpose of even knowing in the moment that it will lead us here today. It was just really self-development of growth,
that part,
facing that fear, because guess what? Those same fears that I had then are still here now.
I was gonna say, do you ever fear that old Will coming back from the dead?
That is something that I face every day in the mirror, and I say my affirmations every day, and I fight who that was. I truly believe that I will not get to a place of who that was, who that being was, because it really wasn't me. So I can't fear something coming back that I can't identify with, even through these seasons that I go through now, which I have gone through seasons where things weren't great at moments, but this is who Will is today, his true self. So I'm addressing them as I am now, because who I was then wasn't enough to work through it, which is why I had the breakthrough, which is why I am who I am, which is why you see this transformation outward, but there's so much work that's been done within.
Oh, absolutely.
So it is a place that you grow to, that if we're speaking on like fears that are really in depth that you got to fight yourself through,
right?
You grow through them. And in most cases, you'll see for those sort of drastic changes in folks, you'll see people like me. You'll see people where you do not recognize who they were, because now they're their true self. And people like us, we fight every day. So that fear is still there. But no, I don't fear that past life coming back to haunt me, because all I have is now. And there is a new life for me now. There is a new approach to how I deal with things. There, as you saw with recently, things I was dealing with in my thought process.
Right.
I adapted through it. And like I said, for example, just to share, I've been doing it, but like more frequently, self-love dates, different things. You adjust your methods to deal with the adversity, to conquer through it. So with fear of moments of not feeling like I'm not enough for whatever reason may be, I'm adjusting my tactics. So I'm growing, I'm developing to fight the battle, to fight the good fight every day.
Every single day.
Every day, because we are so damn worth it, and you're alive. And that's the most important part that I hold on to through this fear as well. I'm alive through it. So why let it conquer me? No. I'll fight the last good fight until I got no breath left in me, because I think I'm worth it. I think you're worth it.
Absolutely.
I think the time that we're investing like right now is so worth it. The sacrifices that are made in these sort of instances to address such a serious topic, because you got to know your worth, and you got to realize that the fear is all in your mind. So we control our reality enough of how much we allow it to control our emotions. Detach yourself from it. Whatever you're feeling through the fear, write that down, and then apply affirmations or things to you that's going to allow you to attack that fear.
I like that.
Attack it.
So that's like defining your uncertainty, then overcoming that and embracing it all together.
Absolutely. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what it is, Jay.
I love that.
That's my approach.
I love that. And your approach has worked for you. So why wouldn't it work for anybody else that's going through a similar situation?
Absolutely. Hold on tight to your purposes.
Purposes. See, I mean, that's the beauty of experience. When you literally have gone through certain things and you've made it out the other end, other people can feed off of your exact story, follow it word for word, follow what you did, the steps that you made, the changes you've made, and to be able to come out on the other side knowing who your true self is, knowing that you're stronger than you were yesterday, and to continue to keep growing, continue to keep facing those fears. I think ultimately that's where we want everyone to be.
Yes. I think it's important to remember in this process, every day again is not going to be a win. And in these moments, you pull through your affirmations, you pull your resources of your support system that you created around you. This is why, we mentioned earlier about assessing who's around you, because when you're doing that work, if you don't have the right people around you for you, it is going to make the adversity that much more difficult. It's going to turn that gauge to damn near impossible. And then you're going to keep repeating old cycles, and you're like, man, how can I can't get through this? For example, when I was going through the fitness aspect part of me, when I was at that point in my life, I didn't know who I was, and I was putting the time in, I'm working out. This was, I guess, marriage life. I wouldn't understand how I work out, but then I'm not losing weight. I just felt like everything I've done was counterproductive, and I was like, dang it, I don't know what else to do. But at the same time, I wasn't realizing I go work out, I come home and I'm eating terrible. The food quality was great. It tastes good, but it wasn't too good for my body.
That's how, I mean, look, if they made celery taste like pizza, you'd never see me.
That's a true fact, man.
It is. But I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think, but see, the other thing is too, once you start, like once you get into the groove of these habits, say, I don't know, 21 days of it, you will see how much easier it becomes. It becomes automatic. It becomes something that's just like waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth. You're like, all right, I gotta eat. You don't even say I gotta eat this. You're like, oh, I'm hungry. Let me eat this.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat this. Instead of saying I got to eat this. It's no longer a chore. It's not something that you dread, not something you hate to do. It's something that becomes automatic, and it ends up being strange if you don't do it. So that's where we want you to get when it comes to habit building, when it comes to facing your deepest fears that you have. You just got to keep doing that work. You just got to keep leveling up. You got to keep getting that support from loved ones around you. You got to continue to define that uncertainty that you have in your life. Define what that uncertainty is. Whatever you were going through at that moment that you were just like, man, I don't have confidence in XYZ. I don't feel like I belong here. Man, I feel like I'm gonna jump off a bridge. Like whatever your uncertainty is, understand that. Know what that is. Work to overcome it, and then embrace it. Embrace that. So I mean, man, I think trying to face your deepest fears, of course, is easier said than done, but all of the progress is within the work. You must take action in order to see results. That's just the bottom line with anything in life, not just facing your fears. Anything that you do in life, you must take action in order to see the result.
Agreed, Jay. Period. I mean, that's really where it goes. It's really just, it becomes just as simple as that. And just pushing and applying yourself to see the best version of you. If you really look at it that way, wouldn't you love to feel the accomplishment of just loving yourself enough to give yourself the best effort and chances you have to feel your best for you? Like, don't you want to know what that feels like? If you haven't, and for those out there that has, you know what I'm talking about. You know when you're fighting that good fight. And trust me, as Jay said, it's not going to come easy. No. If it's coming too easy, something might be a little off. Something might be a little off, because how do you maintain the consistency of that when you get hit with something that's a little harder? What do you do then, right? So it's like, I think it really just comes down to that, and just, applying yourself as best you can for you, not for anyone else. Because if you're not doing it for you, it won't stick. I say that from experience. It will not stick until the moment that you accept you for you, accept the fears for what they are, and then become productive to attack them. Put plans in place, set things in motion, and execute. Like, it's a fight. It's a battle. Fight or flight scenario. Hey, if you're alive, stop flighting from it. Go fight that. Give yourself the best chance you got. And there's no bar on how far you must go with that to receive the satisfaction of your efforts. You put in a good fight for what it is. Hey, when I have them days that things aren't going as great, before I go to sleep at night, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Well, if I can see another day, I'm here now. I'm gonna sleep through it. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna put more work into it tomorrow. I'm gonna figure out another process. How can I address? How can I adapt to this issue? And look for certainty to get me through whatever that looks like. Look for it, find it, and then execute. That's my thought process. That's how I fight fear every day. And I had to break through myself first and foremost to even realize that that's possible. Because here, we're only here for a brief moment. So why allow myself to get caught up on things that I feel are going to hinder me from being my best self? Because I'm trying to leave a legacy here.
Sure.
I'm trying to leave a legacy that's going to be everlasting for the next person that may feel where I was at some point, and to know that there's an option, there's fight, to know what Jay has shared, there's fight through the things that we've been through, that you're going through. So this is a big part for our community, the Chromas community. So guys, like, let's do that work. Let's do it together. Let's fight. You with us?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't they be with us, man? I mean, good Lord, we're 20 episodes in, y'all. 20 episodes.
Yes.
If this isn't proof of facing your fears or being comfortable with being uncomfortable, I really don't know what is. We could have been 20 weeks ago, we could have still been talking about starting a podcast. Fast forward 20 weeks, we could have still been talking about starting a podcast. We could have said, man, I don't know if YouTube's going to accept what we have. I don't know I don't know about a Spotify account. It may cost too much. I don't know if about starting an IG page and having to answer comments or reach out. I don't know if I can post every day, or I don't know. All of those things. We're facing them every single day. Those fears are real. Those obstacles are real, and we crush them every single day. And that's what you have to do. That's what you need to do. But before you reach that point, you have to define your uncertainty. So, ladies and gentlemen of Acromis, here's what we want you to do.
Yes.
We want you to tell us what your deepest fear is. Tell yourself, more importantly, what your deepest fear is. Figure out that uncertainty. Let us know. What we can do is we can share your story. You will receive a chance to be featured on our page and have your question answered by us. Imagine that. You're having your questions answered by us for the entire community to see.
Yes.
That way we build together, we grow together, we face our fears together daily and consistently crush to get to exactly where we need to be.
Absolutely. I like that.
Damn.
I think that's a great idea, guys. So show us what you got. Let us know. We're all here together. We all, and the thing is, we all face it. So
every single day.
We all face it.
There's not a man alive or a woman alive who can say that they have absolutely no fear.
Nah,
fear exists. You acknowledge it, you move forward, you move it, you move through with it, you embrace it. It becomes something that you wear on your shirt with pride, knowing that you carry this every single day.
Absolutely.
And you push every single day. You get stronger every single day, knowing that it's still there.
Yep.
What's better than acknowledging that and wearing that and pushing with it? That is strength. That is some strength right there, ladies and gentlemen.
That's growth.
Wow.
That's life.
Man.
That's life.
And you brought up a good point, right? You know, in all of this, it takes action, and action in of itself is tough to do for some people. It's tough to know what type of action to take when you're facing a certain scenario. It's tough in general to take action. Some people feel like they're unprepared to move to the next level, or they're unprepared to face their fears or know exactly what their fears are in general. So I think there is truly a strategy that our followers can follow in order to be able to get to that next level where they are no longer struggling to take that action. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday, again, we bring you gems, and we got to bring you this one: the art of action. Getting things done consistently. Consistently. That last word is the most important word. So I want you to tune in next Sunday, another episode of the Acromis Podcast, episode 21. We're legal. Episode 21.
Good times.
Oh my goodness, isn't that amazing?
It is.
We're going to be legal. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. No, the art of action, getting things done consistently on a consistent basis, going from point A to point Z consistently without taking any sort of steps in between those to stop you. Because sometimes we put roadblocks in front of ourselves in order to not get to the end when we think we should be there. So how do you consistently, you're going to hear that word a lot, consistently take action?
Consistently. I like that.
Yeah, I love it. It's good. It's one of the best C words I've ever heard. So
I mean, we're consistent.
Many C words, but that's one of the top notch.
It is. It is. It's gonna become one of your favorites too after next week.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this Sunday. I mean, look what God has blessed us with, man. I mean, this has just been a great Sunday. We thank you again for taking the time out with us.
Yes.
Once again, I mean,
how can you reach us?
Look, if you, again, for those who have this is your first episode, never seen any of this before, never heard of it before. Look, I understand you're new. But for those who have been here before but still do not know how to reach us, shame on you. But once again, we'll share because we're just the nice people we are.
Yes.
ACHROMOUS. That is ACHROMOUS. Acromis. You can see us on YouTube. You subscribe. You hit that like button. You share. And it is what you said. It was free. There's an F word in there. You said
it's free.
That's unbelievable. I can't even say the word. You saw me struggle. I had to have him say because I don't know what that means.
Free. So please make sure to hit that button, and more so, like Jay said as well. Share the content. If you really dig it and you're really into what we're giving, guys, we need your help to reach others who are like-minded, just like all of us.
Don't
right?
you want
Don't
to
hold
see
it
people
into
succeed?
yourself. Yeah, Yeah.
Don't you want to see people fulfill their destiny and face their deepest fears and constantly take action? Like think of what a better world this would be if everybody's on that same move.
That same wave is one hell of a vibe. Oh, it's going to be a great one, guys.
Oh my God. So ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday, we will see you. We want you to have a great week. Have a blessed week.
Yes.
Face your fears every single minute of the day going forward. And until next Sunday, I am J.H. Gibbons.
I'm Will C.
Peace.